I want to do a follow-up on gold. We got a big attack on gold this morning, but that doesn't necessarily mean that this particular daily cycle is going to left translate. It's not unusual at all for gold to retest the cycle low before getting some real upward momentum. You can see that's what happened here. A lot of sideways churn before getting any traction. Same thing here, same thing here, same thing here, as a matter of fact. So not all that unusual. It's as I said in my previous video, it's probably just going to boil down to the currency. So let me go over to the dollar. All right. So the dollar has been moving down into its daily cycle low, and as I've stated many times in the past, the currencies are probably the most heavily manipulated markets on the planet. So the ECB would like to prevent the euro from rallying and keep it suppressed against the dollar and its neighbors. So the ECB is going to try and fight any upward momentum in the euro, and they're going to want to keep the dollar propped up and the euro suppressed. So there's probably a pretty good chance that this is going to turn out to be the daily cycle low in the dollar. And now we're starting another daily cycle. So the question here is whether or not this daily cycle is going to left translate. And by that I mean, it rallies maybe 5 to 8 days and then rolls over and comes down and breaks below this pivot, and we get a failed and a left translated daily cycle. That would mean that the dollar would be moving down into an intermediate cycle low. And during that process, then gold is going to be at risk for the cartel to keep smashing it. So, we knew at some point here that the dollar was going to rally out of a daily cycle low, and then that was going to either cause the gold to left translate and we get a deeper move down into an intermediate cycle low, or we get like a half cycle low in gold, or maybe even a short daily cycle that retests those lows. So let me go back to gold. All right. So, not surprising, the cartel did manage to close gold. Well, they almost closed gold below 1800. We're getting a little bounce this evening. We'll have to see what tomorrow brings. But if the dollar is rallying out of that daily cycle low, then gold is probably going to be under pressure for 5 to 8 days if the dollar is going to left translate. If the dollar is not, if it's just going to continue to make higher highs, then gold's probably going to give us another left translated cycle, and we're going to come down and probably test this, or maybe even this low. So it's still up in the air right now. The bullish case is still possible. It just depends on what happens with the currencies. But if the dollar is rallying out of that daily cycle low, and I think it probably is, then the cartels it's going to be a lot easier for the cartel to smash gold just like they did today. And if they can, they're going to try to break this low and left translate this cycle. But if the dollar does roll over, then they're not going to be able to do it, and this will just turn out to be a half cycle low and maybe some kind of a retest of this low, and then we'll take off and move higher. So up in the air right now, and probably just dependent on what happens with the currencies.